This conference will now be recorded.
Have you got all the files?
Yeah,
The last time we did session number 15, I believe so. Okay. So this is basically inheritance concept we have seen, and we've also used the overriding terminology out here. Now, if you look at this particular behavior, uh, I've just installed this new version, and this machine is faster than the other one. That's why you will see the look and feel is a bit different, the colors and all. Okay, let's go ahead. Understanding this particular behavior. Now, if you look at, there are two classes. Mm, the two classes are your dog class and puppy class. The puppy class inherits the dog class last time what we have seen. An important thing to understand out here is that in the puppy class, I have treated an object of the dog and the object of the puppy. And one more class that I created is the animal class out here. Here I showed you that basically the animal class is inherited by the dog class and the dog class is getting inherited by the puppy class. Now there is an exclusive method of the dog which is called security, which has been made virtual. Okay, and uh, this security method will have been overriding in the your puppy class. So these two classes that I have showed you is basically, this is called a single level inheritance. Now I think I have not given that. Have I given that? Yeah, single level. I showed you single level. I show you multiple level. Single level means there are only two levels. Each level has one class each, and the topmost level is called the parent class. The level below it will have the child class. Multi-level means that it will have more than two levels, and each level will have a single class. The topmost will be parent. Animal is the parent. Dog is the child, and this is the grandchild. Okay, that is what we had seen. Hierarchical inheritance is also possible, where you can have multiple childs of a single parent. Now, the concept of your inheritance for classes do not have multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance. Okay, that will not be allowed. So, which I have not given also out here. Okay, so one thing to be understood out here as a note, that multiple and hybrid is not allowed in the class concept. Okay, so let's create a new, I'll finish up inheritance and then go to Selenium once more, so that you don't have that boredness of completely doing only C sharp. So I'll create a new project. I'll call this as session 16. Console application. Next, I'll give this name as 16. I would like to make this as a startup project. Okay, important thing, I'll make this by default. There's certain notes. I'll do a block commenting. So by default, any class or any method which does not define an access modifier it is taken as internal access modifier. And access internal access modifier may or may not be defined for class or method. Now, if you look at this class, no access modifier defined, so by default it will be internal. So this method is also no access modifier defined, so by default it will be internal. So you may define the internal keyword, you may not define it. It is understood as internal. And what is the internal access modifier? If you go plainly to the language of it, that is your internal in C#, technical language, I would say. In internal queue, the access modifier for types means classes and type members. Type members means the type members are nothing but your methods, or it can be variable also. So to strictly speaking, it can be for method, for class, or global variables. These are also called as members. See, in C#, there are certain terms used are global variables. So in C#, one thing is to be understood as, which is important note, that in C#, when we say data members of class, it means global variables and methods. And note again, type member here means it can be global variables or methods. So type members or data members remain same, is equal to data member only. So any class, any method or global which does not have an access modifier, it is taken as internal. We can declare a class as internal or its members are internal. Internal members accessible within files in which or in the same assembly. So what is the assembly? Assembly is a collection of related namespaces. So understand one particular thing. I don't know if I've told you or not. What is an assembly? It's a collection of related namespaces. So when I say namespace, what do you mean by that? It's a collection of related classes. And what is a DLL or EXE is a collection of related assemblies, more than one assembly. So what it is saying that internal may not be defined for a class or a method. Now how do I know that? So internal members are accessible only within files in the same assembly. In other words, access is limited exclusively to classes defined within the current project assembly. So to tell you this and copy this and paste it out here. This is the important thing. That technically what you need to understand what happens actually. So in other words, internal members accessible within the files in the same assembly. Files in the same assembly is a collection of related namespaces. In other words, access is limited exclusively to classes defined within the current project only. So these are the classes within the current project. This is the project, these are the classes. This program.cs has only one class right now. So this namespace might have n number of classes. And there might be n number of namespaces inside this particular C# file. So assembly is a collection of relative namespaces, it is saying. So this project will have an assembly also. So where is the assembly defined? This is the assembly information. This is where it is defined. This is the identification of the assembly. In the assembly, you define the project name. You can give the description of the project, configuration, company to which assembly belongs to, product. You can change all these things, copyright activities, assembly version and all. So if you say internal, so what is this assembly info? Assembly info, nothing but the identification of the assembly. So these are things which you should know. EMBLY info, identification for assembly. So what it says, in other words, access is limited exclusively to classes defined within the current project assembly. That's what it means. This is what internal can be used for. And if you look at if I write down what is the default access modifier in C#. Internal is the default if no access modifier is defined. That is why I said internal is considered the default access modifier for a class, for a method inside the class, or for data members or the global variables also. Okay, should not basically. Now, what I need to do is that I would like to show you one other thing. Write it down. Uh, Multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance is not allowed in class concept. As a note, I can tell you this. Note things are very important. So what is multiple? We have seen, we will be seeing hierarchical inheritance because class concept will allow hierarchical. But multiple inheritance is what? Multiple means a child inheriting properties from multiple parents. Generally, as far as your single level inheritance or multi-level inheritance or hierarchical inheritance is concerned, you will see that the child is inheriting from a single parent the property. Here the child is inheriting properties from multiple parents. So there may be more than one parent for the child. There may be more than one parent for the child, and because of that reason you can understand that it is not allowed in your class concept. It is not allowed. I've given this anyway. What I intend to say is that multiple inheritance is allowed in interfaces. It is allowed in your interface. And hybrid is a combination of multiple and hierarchical. Now, how does it look like diagrammatically if I show you? It looks like, so let's speak about multiple. So this is the child class, class C. It can be inheriting its properties from more than one parent. Class A, class B. You can understand one thing, that this is a class C inheriting properties from more than one parent. This is multiple inheritance. This is not allowed in class concept. Now here class A and class B are not at all related. The parent classes are not at all related. And what is your hybrid? It's a combination of multiple and hierarchical. So you have two classes, class A and class B, which are all not related. So A and B. The properties of class A and class B will be inherited by a single child. Let's say C. Now C hierarchical means what? It will have multiple childs. The C can have multiple childs. So this can be D, E, and this can be F. So if you look at this portion, this is hierarchical. And if you look at this portion, this is multiple. So combining these two together is what makes hybrid. Hybrid is also not allowed in your class concept. Okay. Which is not allowed in class concept. Okay, now we'll see an example. I'll call this class directly as hierarchical interface, inheritance, sorry. I'll make this class as public. make this also as public. So I showed you single level inheritance out here. Dog, dog to a puppy. Two classes. There are two levels. Each level has one class. The topmost is parent and the bottommost is your child. Here it is your the concept of your multi-level. Topmost level is animal inherited by dog. Dog is inherited by puppy. So what I will do, I will not waste time out here. I will directly create the animal class again. Better that I create animal class. Okay. I will not use the main method out here. I will just define its values. Uh, these are the global variables. I will define, and these are the methods that I will define. This becomes a virtual method because I will override it in the child class. Eating, running, sleeping. So we'll see that what I can override and what I cannot override. This class is ending out here, so I can create, it has a multiple childs. So one child can be lion. So public class lion. And lion will inherit, so you have to use colon animal class. This is one child. Other child can be your, now dog can have puppy. From animal it can be dog and then puppy. But here multiple child. So other child can be your public class peacock is also an animal, right? Animal, that's a bird. So I'll call this as tortoise. This will also extend. Extends is the term used for inheritance. Extends the uh, animal class. So this is one child of animal, and this is the another child of animal. So more. So here what happens? Lion and tortoise, they belong to the animal kingdom. So a lion and tortoise becomes siblings, where one single sibling has the capability to eat the other one. Okay. Now, which is the methods that I want to override? First of all, which methods to be overridden? Sleeping. So probably I will not override it because tortoise will also sleep, an animal will, lion will also sleep. Eating habits will be different. So I can override this, Control C, and override this in this particular. So I'll use the virtual keyword out here. Sorry, override keyword. And I'll say that eats meet. Do you want to override the running method? This is static. You can't override a running method because this is static method. Static methods cannot be overridden. This is also static. Why it is static? Because sleeping and running are uh, common. Now, first thing is that static methods cannot be overridden. But does tortoise run? Tortoise cannot run. So what I will do when I initialize the object of the for example, tortoise, I will initialize it by not using the running method because it cannot run. But I can initialize the object of lion with the running method because lions can run. What I can override in the tortoise class, this can be overridden, right? So I put it here also. Override eating eats green leaves. Plus, these child classes can exclusively have its own property that you can define it. Properties can be your data members. It can have its own data members, its own data member means obviously it means global variables, its own methods. This class can also have its own data member. That means it can have its own global variables, its own method. That is left to you. And what I can do is here I can create an object of the animal class. I'll initialize the object as I've done here so that we can save some time. I'm creating the object where? In the tortoise. Why can I initialize out here? Because it anyway extends. The problem is I have not called the main method. Why? How can you use it? Public static void main. Inside this you have to initialize this. So it will be and then I can call it inside this. Animal has whatever the values of the eye and tail is static, so it is defined. 2 eyes and 1 tail. Color can be of any color. Is of any color. Eating method is what is the eating method? Eating method is non-static. It has to be called with the reference variable. It will define as method body as defined in the parent class. Eat green leaves and meats. And then running is static, so called with the class name. Running method will show you as defined out here. Runs, and then you have the sleeping method. Okay, I'm creating this inside the tortoise. Now I can use console.writeLine and create an object of the lion class inside tortoise. Can I create an object of the lion class? So let's see that. Even if lion and tortoise are siblings, tortoise is not extending lion, it is extending animal. So lion L is equal to New line. Can I create that? Sorry. I can use it without any problem. I'll copy this thing and do the necessary changes. Well, let's not waste time. So I can just write down that lion has, wherever there's animal, I'll change it to lion. Okay, this should be also changed to lion. The A reference should be changed to L, wherever you're using it. Okay. So here also you have to change animal to Control C, Control V. Okay, lion can run, so I'm calling the running method. Lion can sleep, so I'm calling the sleeping method. Lion can eat. So what will this throw out? As overridden in the lion class. Okay, so it can run, sleep, and eat. So that's why I'm using these methods. Okay, and let's run this right now. So you can see the animal eat method, which is a non showing you the body part as defined in the animal class, green leaves and meats. Lion in the lion class, it has been overridden, so it is showing you lion eats meat. And similarly, I can create an object of the uh, tortoise class inside this. So I'll just call this as T, and this will be tortoise. These are static global variables, so calling with the class name. This is non-static. This lion should be brown in color, and here tortoise T. Okay, this should be black in color. That's the change that I'll have, and convert this to tortoise. It should be T dot color. Here also it will L dot color, which I have not changed. This should be T dot eating. This should be tortoise. This should be tortoise. This should be tortoise. These also are static, so called with the class name. Now you can run this. So you see the colors have also changed. Is brown, is black. This eat method is overridden from the animal class. The animal class is green leaves and meats. Here it is eat green leaves. Here it is eat meats. Okay. So that is how you're getting it now. I can close this. So this is hierarchical because of the fact that the ch- the parent animal has multiple childs. One child is lion. This object one and one class is your tortoise. I use the main method in tortoise. One more thing I want to show you. I would like to show you something called as let's define it out here, console dot write line. Something called as upcasting. Now, certain things which you need to understand. Upcasting is possible for classes and interfaces. Second thing is that for classes, in upcasting, we create objects of the child class and reference the object by the reference variable of the parent class. Now I'll show you. Now which are the child class? Lion and tortoise. So I can create an object of the lion. I'm creating in the tortoise class. So you can also create of the tortoise. This is the object of the child. You refer it to the reference variable of the parent. Parent is animal. This is upcasting. Parent class pinpointing towards the object of the child class. What is the repercussion of upcasting? We'll see that. Now A1 is the reference variable of the parent, pinpointing towards the object of the child. The reverse is not possible. You cannot create an object of the parent and refer it with the reference variable of the child. You can't do like this. Tortoise P1 and refer it to the parent. That's not possible. We'll show you a syntax error. Not possible to downcast. This is just for your reference. You can get an object of the child. Child can be referred by the parent, or the child can be referred by its own reference variable tortoise. That's fine. But what are the repercussion of this upcasting that we need to see? So repercussion is that eyes, tail, these are static. Static will not have any repercussion. You can just copy this and paste it out here. I'm initializing this object right now. So I can say that tortoise has to, because it's the object of the tortoise. So anyway, I can call the static references with the parent class name or by the child class name. So static will not have any problem. Okay, I can call the static methods also. Tortoise, okay, one more thing. In this particular class, tortoise cannot run. So I will not initialize this particular part. That's what I was telling. Lions can run, but tortoise cannot run. So initialization of the object depends on what is the requirement. Tortoise cannot run, so I will not use the run method. Okay. Now the other thing is that This sweeping is a static method. I can directly use it, no problem. I will not use the running method. Running method is also static, so I can use it, but the tortoise cannot run. It's the object of the tortoise. What about the non-static part? T1 A1 reference. Now, is this color defined in the parent class? If it is defined in the parent class, non-static behaviors, static behaviors will not have any problem as far as upcasting is concerned. So I can write down that REFE. Static references do not have any problems in upcasting. Color, is it present in the parent class? Parent class animal is a reference of the parent. So can I use it out here? A1 dot color. I can use it. I can see also it is coming out. String. So I can say that tortoise are gray in color also. Now I can use the reference variable which is pinpointing towards this object, reference with the color, because color is non-static and it is inherited by the tortoise class. I can print out this. Fine. What about eating? Now, eating is a non-static. It is present in your animal. It is present in your animal class and overridden in tortoise. Here, this can be also used. A1 dot eating. Here I'll pass the value of tortoise. You have to pass the string value, right? Animal type. But what is the body that will be thrown out? What is the body will be thrown out? Will it throw out the overridden body as defined out here? Or will it define the body as defined in the animal class? So this will throw out body as defined in tortoise class. Please remember it. A1 is pinpointing towards which object? This object. And in this object's class, this is overridden. So this will throw out body as defined in the tortoise class. Had I not overridden it, then this would have thrown out the body part as defined in the animal class. This would have thrown out this. I can show it out. Let me comment this overriding technique. Try to remove this is also a problem. Now I want you to check out this one. Okay, the value of the eating method. This will throw out the body as now defined in the animal class, and I can show it out because A1 is referencing of the animal, pinpointing towards this object, a reference of the animal class. So this will throw out as defined in the animal class. You can see that. Color and all is fine, eyes and fine, that will not have any problem. You can close the other one. You can see as two eyes, one color, color is black, it is showing you right now. Why it is showing you black? Even if, because I have not changed out here. This is A1 reference, right? I will run it once more. So what it is showing you, color as gray, eating green leaves and meat. This is what need to be seen. Now the eating method is not been overridden and it is referenced by the reference variable a1 pinpointing toward the object of the child right now. But since the eating method has not been overridden, it is showing you the body part as defined in the parent class, green leaves and meats. And when I override this, now see the difference. This will show you the body part as overridden in the child class tortoise. Let's close this and run it. You see, eats green leaves. That is what this overridden out here. This is how it reacts. This is behavior of your upcasting. Now, what I will do, I will create a, so what is happening? Non-static methods which are defined in parent and overridden in child can be used and throws, what is that? Can be used and throws the body as defined in overridden method. And I'll also say one particular thing. Non-static which are defined in parent and not overridden in child can be used and throws the body as defined in the parent class. Body of the method as defined in the parent class. That's fine now. Now I'll create an exclusive method of tortoise. And I'll purposely make it non-static. These are things you should know. Tortoise. Non-static. Public. Non-static void return type. What is the action that can be performed by tortoise which is not present in lion or animal? It is amphibious animal. So I can write down living habits. Movement, public movement. I can write down console.writeLine. Tortoises are amphibious and so it can walk and swim, which is not possible for all animals of the animal kingdom or for lion also. Swim underwater actually. lions can also sometimes swim at over water. Now this is a non-static method. How do you call it for this, especially for upcasting? With the reference variable, it is A1 dot. Do you see the method movement? You see eating, it is overridden in the this thing. Running you can use directly, as I've showed you earlier also. Mm, you don't see running because running is what? Running and sleeping are static. So you have to call with the class name. Now do you see, you can see eating. Eating is overridden in the child class, tortoise child class. It's a non-static method in the parent class animal. So eating can be seen. But do you see movement? Why don't you see movement? You don't see movement because it's an exclusive method of the tortoise child class, which is not present in the animal. How are you calling that method? By the reference variable of the animal, A1. That is why you don't see movement. If I forcefully use it, you will see syntax error. I'll give you that animal does not contain a definition of movement and no accessible extension method movement accepting a first argument of type animal. Why? Because movement is the exclusive method of the tortoise child class. It is not present in the animal. And you're calling this movement with the reference variable because it's a non-static. And which is the reference variable of the animal class reference variable. So this is not possible. So what you can write down? Movement cannot, movement method cannot be called as it is being called with reference variable of animal class, that is A1. Movement is a method of tortoise and not animal class. So how can you call with reference variable A1 which is of animal class? That is why it cannot be used. So that means, what is the inference? The inference is very simple. Only those non-static methods can be called with reference variable of parent class which are overridden in child class. So this can be called because this is overridden, this is present in the animal class, overridden in the child class, but this cannot be. The reference variable is the animal class, and the movement is not present in the parent class. It's only exclusive method of the child. And this is basically for your upcasting. It's the important factor. Okay. Now tortoise cannot run, but it can sleep. So I can use tortoise is a static method. Sleeping method is static, so I can call with the class. Static references will not have any problem in upcasting. He's sleeping. What is the method name? The animal type has to be given. I will not use the running method. I can call the running method also because tortoise cannot run. It's a static method, so call it the tortoise. Now you run it. You can see tortoise green leaves, everything else is fine. Tortoise leaves, it is calling 2 times. So I can remove from here. Now, this is reference value of the tortoise, object of the tortoise. Can I call the movement method out here? Yes. T is the reference value of the child only, pinpointing towards the child object only. So you can see that T dot movement is coming now. It has been seen. There is no upcasting out here. But I can't use it with lion. Lion will have a problem because movement in method is not present in lion. So L dot, you will not see the option of movement. Only eating is coming. You can see because that is a non-static method which is overridden in lion also. I can't use movement also out here. And will tell you that it does not contain a definition for movement. These are all the things which you need to see. And obviously, this is A dot movement you will not see. Forcefully using it will not solve any matter. So what you need to understand, upcasting is possible. It's an object of the child, reference the reference will be of the parent. Static references will not have any problems. Non-static methods which are defined in the parent overridden the child class can be used and throws the body as defined in the overridden. If it is not overridden in the child class, it will throw the body as defined in the parent. Only those non-static methods can be called with reference variable the parent which are overridden in the child class. Okay, that's upcasting as far as class level is concerned. And upcasting requires you to have inheritance. So you write down upcasting requires inheritance. Otherwise, how will you show upcasting in your class? And this is a typical example of hierarchical also. Okay. Now don't try to do multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance in your class concept. It will fail. I can show you one particular example that I'll add a new class to it. I'll call this class as multiple. Which is not allowed in your class concept, strictly speaking. And I can now have multiple main methods running. What I should do is I'll copy it first and then comment this. I call this is a C# file name. I will change the class name. In the class name, I'll call this as class A. just for the heck of making you understand. I'll have a public non-static method. We'll call this as a virtual method, which can be overridden. Let's say method A. We'll do console dot write line. I'll just write down method A printed out. I'll have another class. I'll copy this class. I'll call this as class B. Remember, class A and class B are not at all related. Okay. It also has method A. I'll call it printed out in class A to show you a difference. Printed out in class B. Okay. Now we'll do a multi-level inheritance. I will have public class C. It has to inherit both the. It is inheriting class A and also class B. Class C cannot have multiple classes, multiple base classes. It is telling you directly. Okay. It is telling you directly that it cannot have multiple classes. This is the major thing, because what I will do is that both the classes have the same kinds of methods, method name. So if I create an object, for example, this is fine. One class is fine. So I'll do a console, or rather, I create an object of class C. Why do I create an object of class C? Because I have to call this non-static reference. Non-static reference should be called only by class. So C is equal to new C dot I have to call the main method, right? Inside this I'll call the public static void main method. And the main method should have a string single dimensional array arguments. I'll call this object out here. So C dot method A. Fine. This will not have any problem at this point of time if you do control F5. So it'll give you class A printed in class, method A printed in class A. That is not a problem. Okay, I can also inherit separately class P. Now what will happen? This will define method. This will be methoded printed in class P. This is what it will print out. Fine, not a problem. But what happens if I inherit both? So multiple inheritance for a single class is not allowed in your class concept. Now why it is not allowed? That is what you need to understand. Class A and B. Why it is not allowed? Because when you call method A, which is common between these two classes, which body will be thrown out? This body or this body? That is why multiple inheritance is not allowed in your class concept. You will see this kind of problem. Okay, I'm not going to remove the problem so you can see that. So that's in inheritance. I've shown you upcasting. I've shown you overriding concept also. Okay. So I will show you one Selenium thing before I go forward. So here also the main method needs to be commented because I will create one more class. Or let it be not commented because let me create a separate project by itself. So last time when we have seen Selenium uh, using links, right? So I showed you how to get the text of all the links. And I showed you how to get the if the element is displayed or not because you are getting the stale element reference except no. Uh, you are getting certain text were empty. Why it was empty? The reason was that uh, certain texts are not defined by the coder and the display property is also off. So when is the text shown? The text is shown when the display property is on and the text is also defined by the coder. Text is not shown where? When the display property is off, text is also not defined. When the display property is off, but text is defined. Okay. So when it is not shown, these are the reasons where it is not shown. We will not get the text, we will not get the text under these three categories, 1, 2, and 4. Only in this category you'll get the text where the display property is on and you'll also get the text defined by the coder. And how do you check up the display property? Using the displayed property present in Selenium. And you can also use the enable properties to check if the element is enabled or not. Okay, that is what we have seen right now. Now I want to work with links more. Okay, now what can I work with? That is the next question. Let me close this. So I can work with, let's work with bbc.com. BBC website rather. I want to work with, let's say, we have found out how many links are there in the text of the links. We also found out that certain texts were not visible. What are the reason for that? We have seen that. Now let's say the requirement is something like this. You need to work on this area only. Which area? This area containing 5 links. So today it is 5 links, tomorrow it can be 4, day after tomorrow it can be 10 in this area. How do you work with it and what do you have to do? So what you need to do is that you have to click on this first link, get the title. So if you click it, you will get the title. How do you get the title? Hover your mouse over this tab, you will get the tooltip. That is the title. So you go to this first link, get the title, come back to bbc.com. Sequentially click on the second link, get the title, what you see out here, the tooltip. Come back to bbc.com. Click on the third link, get the title of the third link, come back to bbc.com. Click on the fourth link, get the title, come back to bbc.com. Click on the fifth link, get the title, come back to bbc.com. If there is a sixth link at runtime, you have to click on the sixth link also, get the title, come back to bbc.com. So as the number of links in this area, you have to do this activity. How do you do that? That is why I will create a new project again. I'm going to call this as Selenium 3. And let's create a public class because otherwise it will be taken as internal. And make this method as also public, otherwise it will be taken as internal. What you need to do, you have to put in the startup project, set it as a startup project, and also manage the NuGet package. I hope I have shown you to work with different drivers, right? How different browsers. I hope I have shown that. Have I shown that? Are you out there? Okay, yes. So I'll basically need to first work with Selenium. So write down Selenium out here. And I need to install this support. When I install support, automatically this also get installed. This one. If I install this, that does not really install support. But if I install selenium.support, it will install Selenium WebDriver automatically. So you can check it out. One thing that it has installed Selenium WebDriver also. Now I have to work with Chrome. And this is what I need to install by J Sakamoto. Win32 Mac Linux 64. And what is the version of now? In the other machine I had and the Chrome version 75. In this machine I have 76 version. So ensure that you are installing WebDriver 76 version. This one. Let's install. I can close this and let's close this also. Save it out. Okay, certain things are important which I will copy from here, and that is Chrome driver and Mac navigating to BBC and all. The requirement is very simple. Need to work on links specific to an area. And whatever I'm showing you, I'm repeating this fact, whatever I'm showing you is applicable for all elements, whether it is a link today or a button tomorrow or a checkbox tomorrow. I have to use this. So need to work on links specific to an area. Now, how do I know that this area is specific, which will actually have all the 5 links? So today it is 5 links, tomorrow it can be 10 or 4 or 2 also. How do I know that? So definitely the inspect element tool will tell you that. How? This is the inspect element tool, right? If I hover over any of these, I see that there's a highlighting portion. That means this text is represented by this HTML script, and that is the area which it is highlighting. If I want to see, I want to highlight this area, complete area. So it is highlighting including the text, you can see. It is not highlighting the rest of the areas. And this is the script for this. So I'll show again. I want to highlight this whole area containing the script. This is the script for it. It is highlighting any of the other areas. Check it out. It is only highlighting that portion. So that is the area. Now I want to highlight all the 5 links. The 5 links should be highlighted in an area. How do I do that? Hover your mouse over all the elements. If I move out here, it is only hovering over this link and highlighting this link. This is the whole area of the link, but not all the 5 links. You have to move a bit right hand side or left hand side. Oh, I can see that something is highlighting all the, at least 2 links are getting highlighted. If I click out here, this is the HTML script. If I hover my mouse over the HTML script, is it actually highlighting all the 5 links? I think so. Yes, it is highlighting of the 5 links of that specific latest business news area. So we will work on the latest business news. So area is latest news. So what will I do? I'll keep the address of the area. How do you keep the address of the area? Address of address of an area or address of an element, specific element. How do you keep it? We keep it by using the 8 different locating strategies in Selenium. So these 8 different locating strategies are, this will be, you can keep the address. You can keep the address by, you can keep the address by your ID, your class name, your name locating strategy, by tag name locating strategy, by link text locating strategy, by partial link text, by XPath locating strategy, and by CSS selector locating strategy. Okay, and address of the area, or you can say an element, because the area that it is highlighting, this is HTML script. This is nothing but a node or an object of the DOM document. So all these tags, this is a DOM document. So inspect element tool creates a DOM document, and all these tags that you see are considered a node and object of the DOM document. DOM means document object model. It's a freeware, free open source cross-platform API. It creates a documentation of the HTML script of the whole page. This is a node. This is nothing but an element by itself. So that is the element which is it is highlighting. Simple. So going back to it, and address of the element or the area is kept in iWeb element interface. Now please remember, iWeb element interface is an interface in Selenium WebDriver interface. And this iWeb element interface is actually used to keep the address. So let's keep the address right now. So driver dot find element. Now by what locating strategy I will keep the address? By, let's say, XPath. Most secure way to keep. And how do I get the XPath? This is the HTML script. Right click, copy the XPath. When you copy the XPath from inspect element tool, the attribute value, this is the ID attribute value, comes within double quotes. You have to change it with single quotes. So this is the address, terminated, and if you hover your mouse over find element method, the return type is the iWeb element, you can see. So put it to iWeb element. And call this as address of the area equal to this. Now this keeps the address, this reference variable address of the area keeps the address of that element of this area. Now what I need to do, in this area how many links are present dynamically, to find out how many links are present in this area. It can be 5, 12, 13, 20, whatever it is. Now dynamically find out number of links, because right now it is links, it can be anything else also. It can be buttons also. It can be checkboxes also. Find out number of links in the latest business news area. How do I find out? Now how is link created? If you highlight over the link, this is the h3 tag. H3 tag is nothing but heading tag. Actually the link is out here. Links are always created by the anchor tag A. Please remember that. So how do I find out? From this area, find not one element, find out all the links. So find elements by there's a locating strategy called as tag name. Find out how many links are present in this area. Number of links. So how will you find out? I'll terminate it. If you hover your mouse over find element, the return type is iRead-only collection interface. Okay, the return type of this is iRead-only collection interface. So I'll write down. Interfaces in C# always start with the I word. So that's why web element is also starting with I. So return type of this find elements method is iRead-only collection interface. You can just hover your mouse and check it out. If you do not understand it, I'll show you once more. iRead-only collection interface. It's iRead collection. It's a collection of iWeb elements. You can see iRead collection is a collection of iWeb elements. So I will basically return it like this. I read only collection interface of high web element. And I'll call this as all links is equal to this. Reference variable is all links. Now, I need to tell you about this. Last time here what I had used, here I had used the iList. I've already told you. Okay, so either you can use uh, iRead collection interface. Here also somewhere I've used find elements. Here also showing iRead only collection. Last time I showed you with iList. Right now I'm showing with iRead collection. The methods will be present. So what I need to do, I need to find out how many links dynamically present. So console dot write line. And I can write down the number of links present in latest business news area are now, like your iList interface, iRead collection is reference by reference variable all links. So I'll use the count property. So this will give me the number of links add dynamically. So it is 5 links, you should give me 5. It is 4 links, will give me 4. So let's run this right now. Okay. And if it is giving me 5, let's say it is opening up the website, it is showing me 4 links, so it should give me 4. Now this pop-up is coming, I need to close this and then work on this. So we'll see how to close this also. Just hold on. I need to find out how many links are there. Are 5, you can see that. And I can go out here, check this out. If I click on this particular website, the pop-up goes, you can see that. So you have to see all these manual behaviors. Either I can close the pop-up or click outside of the pop-up somewhere out, it will close the pop-up. Now how many links are there? At runtime there are 5 links, and that is why it is giving you 5. So well and fine, the steps are okay at this point of time. This is a dynamic behavior, you're getting it. Now next thing is that click on each link sequentially, print the title of each link page and come back to BBC website. Need to do this for all links in that area and stop once we get title of all link pages. Now this you have to do now. I'll block commented. So click on the each link sequentially, one after another. Print the title of each link page. come back to visit.com. We need to do this for all links in that area and stop once we get title of all the link pages. I'll close this. Now, if the number of links are 5, index number can start at 0 and end at 4, because iRead-only collection supports indexing like your iList interface that we have used earlier. Here also we have used the for loop. So I can use the same for loop out here. Let us save some time. Same for loop where I represents the variable for the index number. It starts with 0. I should be less than all links.count, I++. Now what I need to do, click on the link. So index number 0, 0 is less than 5, obviously. So the for loop will have to first click on the first link. So how do I'm clicking? I'm clicking by the index number. So all links dot element at index number 0. 0 is the first number of I. So at index number I. And what you need to do, dot click. So this will click on the first link. For the first loop, we'll click on first link for the first loop. And then what I have to do, print the title of the page. Now please understand one thing, when you click on the link, when I click on the link, it's navigating by bbc.com to this main page, the link page. Okay, so it takes time. So so printing of the title can only happen if the page opens up properly. So I'll give a wait for opening up the main page on the link page. So I'll just use thread.sleep method. I'll give a 10 seconds delay. And then I'll get the title of the page. So whenever you navigate from one page to another page, always use the static wait sequence. Okay, now I'll print the page. So driver dot title property. So this will return a string value, you can see. So put it to a string variable. The variable name is title of the page. And you print out I can write down that the title of the page is, or I can make it a bit better also. Title of the page, of which page? Title of the concatenate. How do I get first link? Title of the first link page of the, how do I get first? If I put I will call the variable I, it will be 0. There is the index number. And remember, number of links are 5. Index number start at 0, end at 4. If I say that I plus 1, this will give me the first link. The title of the first link page is concatenate variable title page. Now why did I put the counter 1? Because index number is always one number less than the link. Link is 5, index number will start at 0 and end at 4. So the first loop will have the I value 0. So 0 plus 1 will be the first link. Just to make your life easier to understand, that's all. This will print out the title of the page, and then I have to come back to bbc.com. So how to come back? Driver dot URL property is there. Whatever you have used out here, you can just, instead of navigate, I can use the URL property dot URL. And what is the website? The website. Now it will run. So what will happen? I will become 1. 1 is less than 5. So it will click on the second link now because I becomes 1. You click on the second link, wait for 10 seconds, get the title of the second link because I will become 1 plus 1, 2. So the title of the second link page is this. Come back to bbc.com. I becomes 3. Sorry, 2. 2 is less than 5. You click on this third link. I2 means index number 2 means link number 3. Wait for 10 seconds, print the title of the third link page, come back to bbc.com. I becomes 3. 3 is less than 5. Click on the fourth link, wait for 10 seconds, get the title of the fourth link, come back to bbc.com, and then I becomes 4. 4 is less than 5. Click on the fifth link, wait for 10 seconds, get the title of the fifth link, come back to bbc.com. I become 5. Is 5 less than 5? The for loop will terminate. So let's run this. It has stopped. So what is this showing you? The title of the first link. Okay, 01 it is coming. So first problem is out here, that it is showing you I plus 1. And this has to be added, not concatenated. Now I can run this. So close the program. Save and run it. So it clicks on the first link. The title is Goldman something. Boss is charged. It comes back to bbc.com, and then after it doesn't click on the second link. And what is the thing that I'm getting? So I'm getting the title of the first link page is Goldman bosses charged in Malaysia banned scandal, BBC News. I'm getting exception called stale element reference exception. And why it is coming? So I can close this program. Stale element reference exception. Why this? So it is not clicking on the second link. So I'll write down after the first loop happens successfully, it does not click on second link and shows stale element exception. Now, why does stale element happen? Stale element exception happens when we lose cache memory. Now, when we are losing cache memory, okay. So first of all, where is the cache memory created? Now, I have told you one particular day that objects or references or reference variables will take up heap memory. Heap memory means cache memory. It's a temporary memory. It is created on a particular page. So where is the cache memory created? So I'll give you out here. You have created the cache memory out here. This is the reference of the iWeb 11 interface. And this is the reference of the iRead collection interface. So at line number 33 and 36, the cache memory. So where it is created? At line number 33 and line 36. So this is the first thing. So stale element reference exception happens when we lose cache memory. Now, how does it lose? That is not the question right now. Where is the cache memory created? At line number 33 and 36. First. Next question is that on which page it is created? On which page the cache memory is created? Now, the question is why line number 33, 36 are creating cache memory? These are our reference variable of the interface. Reference variable are either of the interface or of the objects. Remember that reference variable of the interface or objects will take heap memory, which is temporary. Okay. Which is nothing but cache memory. Cache memory is temporary actually. So the cache memory gets killed when the object is killed. So I'll copy it out here so that you can see it here. No block commenting for this. So reference variables of the interface or objects will get killed when the object is killed. Okay. Control Z. So reference variable of the interface or objects will take heap memory, which is temporary, which is nothing but cache memory. So the cache memory gets erased or killed when we kill the object or interface. Now, remember that objects or interface memory can be erased or killed by closing the class file or navigating to another page from the page where cache memory was created. This is the important thing. Where is the cache memory created? At line number 33 and 36. Okay, so this is a reference variable of the interface. It can be a reference variable object also. Okay, so a reference variable of the interface of the object can take heap memory, which is temporary, which is nothing but cache memory. Okay, so the cache memory gets erased. So the cache memory gets erased or killed when we kill the object or interface. Objects or interface memory can be erased or killed by closing the class file or navigating to another page from the page where the cache memory was created. So the question is, on which page the cache memory was created? So you have created it. So I have told you that here cache memory. So on which page this cache memory was created? On which page these two references were created? On which page these references were created? Cache memory for line 33 and line 36 was created. So these two references were created on the landing page. It was created line number 26. So write down was created at line 26, sorry. For which behavior those cache memory at line 33 and line 36 got erased. If that is the question to be asked, we navigated from landing page at line 26 to the link page at line, we navigated out here, right, at line number 54. So when we navigated to line number 54, when we navigated to bbc.com, these two cache memory that were created at line number 26, which is on the bbc.com page, got erased. So when we navigated, we navigated out here. So this will be line number, at line number 44 this is. So when we navigated, these two cache memory were created at line number 26. That means on this page, when we clicked on the first link, that is at line number 44, the cache memory got erased. So when I became 1, element at index number 1, what is this all links? All links is pinpointing to I read only element, which calls of the address area, which is of IWeb element. These two have got erased. So for the second loop, compiler is not able to understand all links. So when the second loop happens at I equal to 1, so when the second loop happens at I equal to 1, the cache memory got erased. So all links was not understood. So all links was not understood. So we got stale element exception. So what do? We should not handle exception. Generally we handle exceptions. We should not handle this exception. How do you handle exception? We generally handle by try catch block. We'll see that anyways. We need to recreate the cache memory so that this exception does not come. So I'm giving you each step procedure. We generally handle exception. We don't have to handle it. We have to recreate the cache memory. Where do we recreate the cache memory? So where do we recreate the cache memory? After returning to BBC website, recreate the cache memory. So where do I return to the website? Here. So recreate the cache memory after line 54. So what do? Recreate it. So this is already defined. Just copy this first and paste it out here. And this is connected with this also. So recreate that also. Once you've recreated, wait for 10 seconds. for the recreation to happen properly, and then run the script again. You should not get now still element reference exception. So this exception should not be handled. You check out why it is coming. Recreate the cache memory. After returning to BBC website. So now you can run this. Now you will see that it clicks on the second, third, fourth, fifth link, whatever links are present. Here's a third link. So it was done. Now you can see there's no stale element. You're getting the title of all the five links. First link is that Goldman bosses. Second link is UK economy. Third link is Amazon Eco devices. Fourth link is Brexit. Fifth link is what's going on with my holiday flights. You can cross verify with this link's text, link's title rather. One is Goldman bosses. Second link is UK economy. Third link is Chinese pupil. This is Amazon Eco actually. Amazon Eco is China. Chancellor announces Brexit spending review. So Brexit. This is the title. This is not the text you are getting, the title you are getting. What's going on with my holiday flights. This is how you work with specific area of the link. And we have also seen that how to handle, you have not handle stale element reference exception. You have to remove this stale element reference exception. And what is stale element? Why does it come? Okay. That's it for today. Any questions?
No, Kaushik.
Okay. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at the institute.
Okay, thank you.